Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of the Nicocast. Today, I'm here with Ben. So, when you start a podcast, you're probably going to search up how to get podcast guests or how to make a podcast intro. And one of the first results is Ben. Ben has helped me and tons of other podcasters out to help grow their podcast. So, Ben, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, and it's awesome to see you starting your show. I wish I started mine earlier, so that's awesome that you did so
Yeah.
young. And yeah, I'm a YouTuber, a podcaster, and I run a social media agency where I help people use social media every single day.
Yeah. So, why did you decide to start helping people grow their business on social media?
I saw a serious need for it. I was in university at the time, and I was working at different internships at different companies, and they all expected us to be like social media whiz kids, and we're never taught this stuff in school. So I just kind of made it my mission to become really good at it because I saw that there was a serious need for it, and going to be an increasing one.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you learn all these tips?
Yeah, a lot of it was through trial and error. I think that's the best way to learn. A lot of
Yeah,
people
I agree.
overcomplicate things, and the benefit of social media and podcasting is you can get started for free and then figure out what works and
Mhm.
what doesn't, and then go from there. And that was my first ever somewhat viral video, was just me sharing my podcasting experience for my first show and sharing like what I did wrong. And that video just really resonated with people because they wanted to know, because they wanted to do it themselves. So there's a lot to be said from just trying. And even if you do it poorly at the beginning, just figure it out and eventually you'll get better.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I've been doing YouTube for 5, 6 years almost, and it's just I have gone through tons of moments where oh, I should have done this better, that better. So yeah, I definitely agree. Trial and error is very important to blow up.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, so you have made lots of videos about Instagram Reels. So what do you think is better, YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels?
To say which one's better, that's
What
tough.
do you prefer?
Well, I think right now, in their current state, Instagram Reels is going to be more of a predictable positive thing because there's an
Mhm.
increased reach over there. But YouTube Shorts is still in beta, so it will eventually
Yeah.
be fully launched. And I think there's a huge opportunity once that does get figured out to be a massive opportunity. So I would be doing both, truthfully. But I think the Shorts has the potential to be more valuable because a YouTube
Definitely.
subscriber is more valuable than Shorts. Sorry, than Instagram follower.
Yeah, something I've been doing is I started a Minecraft channel where I posted funny Minecraft shorts, and
Mhm.
then under 10 days, like what 7, 8 days, I got it to 100 subscribers that
Amazing.
quick, and I had already two videos with 1,000 views, so it definitely does work, and I also tried doing a couple Instagram reels about just promoting my YouTube channel. The one where I put my podcast, and all of them have had more views than my followers. So it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely they're both
they're
really
both
great
big options
tools.
for sure.
So why should you start a podcast in 2020? You made a video about this, but just why?
Yeah, I think it's still worthwhile to start a podcast because of the benefits, right? Like even if no one listens to it, if you come into it just because you love the subject or you want to meet more people, simply by running your show, you're doing those things. So if that's your why, you can't lose. And then the
Yeah,
opportunity to make money or grow a business, they're just added bonuses, really. And that's why I started a podcast, was just to meet more people. I was about to graduate school and I wanted to network with more entrepreneurs and learn more from people. So I started the show. It's a great platform. It's a foot in the door because if you call someone and say like, "Can I talk to you on the phone for an hour?" They'll probably say no. And
yeah,
if you had said, "Can I talk to you for an hour?" I would have said probably no.
yeah,
But since you said, "Can we go have a podcast recording?" It's the exact same thing, but it's a reason to say yes, essentially.
definitely. Yeah, and I definitely I didn't start my podcast with the intent to meet new people. I just started because I saw one of my friends did it.
Mhm.
He did one episode and just quit. And then I was like, oh, I like this. So and then throughout I'm able to talk with people I look up to, which is just amazing.
Yeah, no, that's super. It's a super cool thing, and it's awesome that you're doing that.
Yeah, and you get to talk with people you never thought you'd talk ever. Which
100%.
is the funniest thing.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. It's crazy how many people will say yes.
Yeah, I've actually been surprised. So, on the topic of podcasts, what's one thing you knew before starting a podcast? What was one thing you wish you knew before starting a podcast?
think I wish I knew. There's so many things, but I think I wish I knew the importance of consistency because it's very much like what radio used to be and still is for some people. It's very habitual. So the more that you can become part of people's routine, the more it's going to serve you and the more you're going to become top of mind when people are asked by their friends, "Oh, do you know of any good podcasts?" It all comes down to repetition and how many times they've listened
Yeah,
and how comfortable they feel. So consistency is very, very important. I think that's crucial. And that's probably the biggest thing that I wish I knew because there's been times when I hadn't been consistent with my show, and then it slowed because of that.
yeah, I definitely think like consistency is like very important for everything you do.
Yes.
Um, and with my podcast, like if I would have stopped, like there were moments where I wasn't getting any guests, like in the very beginning, I reached out to hundreds of people, maybe even like thousands, like email, like DMs. Like to respond in the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
But I was looking at like people around me that like were very interesting. Like my brother with like a company, like my brother's two friends, and a friend who's an actor. And I was very lucky that I had like people that weren't kind of like not famous. I was lucky that I had like people that I knew personally that were
Mhm.
interesting. So that was like a kind of an easy way to get guests in the beginning.
I think that's a great place to start. That I
Yeah.
love that because a lot of people that say no, it's because they don't think that you're serious or they think that you will.
Yeah.
So if you get those first few episodes with even the people around you, that shows any future guests that you're serious about what you're doing, and that may be the reason they say yes.
Definitely. Yeah, and one of the first people I reached out to, I won't name names. He first said no. I was trying to like get him for like 4 months. I tried to get him. He said nope. That's when I had no like other episodes,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Do you have any other episodes I can listen to?" And I said no. And then like he like declined, and like
Mhm.
what 4 months later, after I've done like so many episodes, like 10 more probably, he finally said yes. And I feel like it was just that like I didn't have enough episodes.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. They want to see that you're serious.
yeah, on the topic of like MP3 podcast, audio only podcast, your podcast is audio only, right?
No, I have it on YouTube as well now.
Oh
We
really?
It
Okay.
used to be audio only, but over the past 4 episodes, we've started to incorporate video, and we'll do that moving forward.
Why did you decide to make it audio only in the beginning?
Just simply the workload. It does create a lot more work for you if you want to start incorporating video, especially if you want to do it like how I'm doing it now. Like, I always advocate that like a podcast, if you want to do it really well with video, you don't only want the long form, but you also want to cut it up into little micro pieces of content to use on YouTube or any of those social media platforms. So all that's more work. You're still repurposing the same content, but it's additional work. So at the time when I started my show, I was still in school and I had 2 jobs. So the additional work of making that video just wasn't really
Oh,
cool for me.
okay.
That was the main reason why I didn't do it. But now I have a team that helps me handle and edit all the video. So it makes a lot more sense for me to do it now.
Wow, I can't imagine like being in school, 2 jobs, and a podcast. That like
Yeah.
must
That's
have
a
been
lot.
taking a lot of your time.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of free time for sure.
Uh, so what's like is the best way to get podcast guests? Because you made a video on this, and in your video you did about that, I used the Instagram live tip, and it helped me out so much. I've been able to get like 5 guests because of it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. I think so. Instagram Live specifically is a great tool and great opportunity, but it's
Yeah,
because of what it really means. So why Instagram Live works so well is because you're not competing against that person's full audience. It's a very, very small and intimate group. So that
like
is really
50 people.
exactly. Go where there's less competition. So if someone has a massive Instagram presence, don't try to DM them because they're probably not going to see it because they're getting so many DMs. Go where
Yeah,
they're smaller. Go where they're trying to grow. Maybe they're starting to Twitch stream. Go into their Twitch stream. Talk to them there. Maybe they're starting to go live on Facebook. Go over there. Go where it's far less competitive, where you can actually make that touch point. Because a lot of the time it's just you can't get through. So if you go to where it's less competitive, you can actually get that interaction and then increase the chances that they'll say yes or say anything. Because at least if they say no, you know that you can move on or come back later.
yeah, I like definitely agree that like Instagram Live is such easy because like they might have like millions of followers, but only like 120 people tune into the live streams, and out of those people, there are probably a lot of like silent viewers that don't comment. So
Exactly.
it's only like it's shorted down to like 20 people like trying to get on the live, which just makes it so much easier. And definitely Instagram Live are great.
Yeah, it's awesome because you can request to join too. So if they bring you
Yeah.
and then you ask in person, it's very difficult for them to say no because you're talking to them, right? It's
And
just
like
like basic
you're
human.
talking to them and there's
Exactly.
like 100 people watching. So there's like pressure
Yeah,
on them.
exactly.
So that's kind of like makes it easier.
For sure.
So there's a new social media you'll be making videos about,
Mhm.
Clubhouse. So why do you think like Clubhouse got the attention of like so many people, like Elon Musk, like people like that? Like, why do you think it did that?
So I think it's because of the founders of it. They're pretty well uh, rooted in like Silicon Valley and the like tech startup scene. I think that helped a lot. I think the celebrities that they got involved in it helped tremendously, and I think they're really leveraging the exclusivity of it. So, and that's a genius way to advertise for free because of FOMO, like, especially because people love to have like subtle flexes and post it on their story saying I'm in Clubhouse. They're not just saying that because they're having a good time. They're saying that
I've
because
seen so many people do that.
saying it because I'm in and you're not, right? Like that's really why they're doing it. And that just creates serious demand to the point where people are now selling invites. Like that's truly insane. And don't sell invites. I really hate like, I try to delete every comment on my videos saying, "Oh, check out my eBay link." Like I just think that's really shady. But that's why it's working so well. It's because of the exclusivity. But it also like people are always like, "Oh, that's simply a marketing plan." And that's definitely a huge part of it was creating the scarcity to get people to want it. But also like running servers for an app like this is really, really expensive. So
I can
they're still in
imagine.
beta. So if they don't, they're not bringing in any money right now. So if they were to do a full-fledged release, the amount of overhead that they would have from a server's perspective would be ridiculous. So basically what they're doing is they're creating serious demand and desire to be on there while also growing slowly and getting more funding from other investors and figuring out how to make money. So they're doing a great job all around. And what they've created for themselves is cool. And you can't really buy cool. It has to be created. And they've done an awesome job of doing it.
Yeah.
It's so valuable.
And like I got on it because I saw like one of these podcasters I like, they do soccer football podcast.
Yep.
When I was like, hey, can you give me an invite? And they just said yeah. And which is like so great because they weren't as big. I mean,
Mhm.
tons of other like big creators also like put, hey, DM me for a free invite. And I was like, there's no chance they're gonna respond to me. So like then I look for smaller people, like I'll get easier there.
For sure. Absolutely. It's all about strategy.
Yeah. So like talking about like the all the like the fake like eBay links, why do you think people do that? Like yes, because it's exclusive, but like do you think
There's a
there's like
lot
a
of
specific
scammers.
reason why?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of scammers out there, right? And people are always gonna and I have nothing against like reselling things. I just think something like this that's just ridiculous. But plus, also like
Yeah.
people need to realize that when you let someone in the clubhouse, you're attached to that person. So like I don't want to just give my invites to just
Yeah.
because on the bottom of their profile, it's gonna say invited by and then me.
Yeah.
If that's some random person that I don't know, if they go on there and start causing stuff, maybe they're saying very negative things and being a very
Yeah.
negative participant in conversations. I don't want to be attached to that guy. So I think it's just a bad situation from everyone. So people just need to be a little more patient and wait for it to open up because it will open up or try to find a way. They're giving out invites far more freely now. So if you really
Yeah.
want on there, you can find it pretty easily.
Yeah, you can definitely get in really easily. My mom got in somehow. Which I was like, what? I was like, how did you even hear of Clubhouse? And like she asked me for an invite too, which
That's
that
insane.
sounds so funny.
Yeah, no, it's gone quite mainstream. I was just on Good Morning America this week, and so now that it's hit
Oh
the main,
yeah. Yeah.
everybody knows about it now.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely gone mainstream. Like people like
Mhm.
Elon Musk have been using it. Like it's just
Yeah,
crazy.
that was big. That changed things a lot for sure.
Yeah. So now let's get into like more of the social media side of like what you do.
Yep.
So you do also videos on how to grow your Instagram pages. So what's like the number one tip you have for people that want to grow on Instagram?
So it's a mindset shift more than anything. It's understanding what Instagram really is. It's a value exchange platform. So think about all the pages that you follow and that you really enjoy following. There's a specific reason. They bring something tangible to your life, whether it be comedy, humor, education. Maybe it's just on a topic that you're super
Cute
obsessed with.
dogs.
Exactly, whatever it may be, but it gives you something. I think I get so many people who will send me their personal profile, and it's just like selfies of them, and they're not a celebrity, and then they're complaining why they're not growing. And it's like, well, what of value is coming from a selfie of you? And that's like a very hard pill that I
Yeah.
used to swallow. Like 5 years ago when I was trying to grow on Instagram. I was like, oh, like why aren't people liking my selfies? It's like, well, no one cares about Ben. No one knows Ben. Like,
Yeah.
why would they want to follow me? Like, so you have to think about why someone would follow you and create for a specific person. Your Instagram page is less about you and more about who's following you, and that's a tough pill to
Exactly.
swallow sometimes. But that's what's really, really important.
Yeah, because if you grow like a certain audience for just one thing you post, you kind of need to like adjust to that type of content or like make them adjust to your type of content. Which can be very difficult sometimes.
Yeah, it can be, and it's really important for it to have a niche or a specific offering for your audience, but also for the platform. If they know what kind of content you are, they're more likely to take more chances on you because they think it's a safer bet than it would be if you're just a total random mismatch of things.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with that. But one of the like type of accounts that grow very fast on Instagram are theme pages, like meme accounts, dog accounts, and I personally also have a theme page too. So, what do you think of theme pages? Like,
So I think theme pages are great. I think the peak era of theme pages has long since passed. Like they're a
yeah,
lot more difficult to grow than they once were, for sure. And I do also think that they're a little less monetizable than they used to be. Like
definitely.
it used to be easier to make money from them, but I still think they're a great way to get in there and learn. And I think even they're a great way to learn about Instagram at no
Yeah,
cost. You can get in there and start learning what works versus what doesn't. And then when you learn those things, you could then go offer that as a service to any business or brand because you now know what works on Instagram. And that's super, super valuable. Plus, you
yeah.
are building an asset. Like I saw that Nicocun, that the theme page sold for, I don't know if it was millions or billions. It was something like truly absurd. So
What?
there still is value. Yeah, it's one of the most popular meme pages, Daquan. It sold for millions of dollars. I'll Google what it's actually sold for. Where you can 85 million it's sold for. So you
85
can
million?
it's a theme page, yeah. So it's a very popular one. It's a meme page, but it's one of those things
Wow.
where there still is a lot of value here. It's just gonna be a lot more difficult. So what I would say is if someone wants to get into the theme page industry, I'd say you need to be uber consistent. Like you need to be very consistent with posting. The more the
Yes.
better. And two, you need to try to find a way to stand out. And it doesn't need to be crazy, but it's so competitive now where if you're not even just a little bit different, it's going to be so much harder for you to grow. But if you are even the slightest bit unique, you will grow so much faster than your competition. And an example I can
Yeah.
give you is a video that I did like 5, 6 months ago was I grew a theme page for The Office. And all I did was post content. So I proved that like you can still grow, but I showed that like if had I put more time and effort into this, I would have grown way faster. And the example that I gave was one of my competitors was doing like strictly video content, which Instagram loves because they're trying to get more video. And he was adding in unique subtitles to the videos, and that he was like the only one doing this. So he was growing so much faster than everyone else. So that's what I'm talking about, just being
Yeah.
this bit unique to stand out.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. Like the adding like unique stuff just very interesting and like the consistency because my first day I remember Instagram theme page was like what 1 week ago now. I posted like 15 times in one day and I went up 300 followers in one day.
You got 300 followers in one day.
Like 270 or around that. And then in 1 week total I got 500 subscribers. Followers, I
That's amazing.
mean.
What are you posting?
Like dog videos.
Amazing. That's really fast growth, man. That's amazing. Were you doing follow for follow as well, or were you just posting?
I was doing follow for follow. I was commenting on people's posts. I post cute puppies
Yeah,
and just posting a lot.
that's amazing, man.
And definitely, I think it's definitely harder to grow because there's tons of other bigger Instagram theme page now. There's like this one that also posts dog pictures. It's like my cutest Frenchie with like 1 million followers.
Mhm.
And it's because they started so early on. And definitely, yeah, definitely there's tons of competition already.
Yeah,
for
that definitely
that.
helps going earlier, but you can also go buy shout outs from these bigger pages, and because
Yeah,
there's less, like not many people are advertising with them as they used to be, so you can typically get them at fairly affordable prices, and if you use the right content, they can be super successful and grow your page very fast, but they can also go the other way. Like you could post you
yeah,
could buy a promo and get no followers. So it all comes down to like, there's so many nuances to this. Like a lot of people are like, oh, they're like they want absolute certainty. They're like it either works or it doesn't. It's not that simple. Like anything in life is so many layers to this.
yeah. Definitely agree with that. So yeah, I'm even like sometimes surprised at how much promos go like for these accounts. Like accounts with 10,000 or like 100,000 followers, their promos might go from like $500 to like 100, which is like insane that people want to pay that much just for like a post or something.
Yeah, well, they'll vary so much. That's why I always say
Definitely.
it's worth doing your trial and error. Plus, that's just their first set rate. Like it's always open to negotiation. There's no rules here. Like there's no set guidelines.
Hmm.
So you can reach out. I would reach out to as many as possible and start to negotiate because you're not forced to buy anything, and you're only like the price you're seeing is just simply what that person personally thinks that's worth. And that doesn't
Yeah.
really it doesn't mean anything. That's totally arbitrary. Like that's their choice to say it's worth this amount of money. So you could easily say, no, it's not worth that. It's worth half that. And they'll probably say yes.
Yeah, and like tons of people are like, what, that much? No, I want to pay like $15. But
Yeah,
like, yeah, just people that have different opinions of what they think like
for sure.
promos cost. So let's talk about TikTok. So what are your tips to grow on TikTok?
I think again, I sound like a broken record here, but consistency is massive there. And the reason for that is because
Yes.
it's gonna force you to get better at making for TikTok specifically. But also when you keep making videos, TikTok continues to give all of your older videos push.
Boost them.
So yeah, so it's very important to remain consistent. And then what I would say is that if you have some sort of niche, it's going to help you grow there tremendously because it's very easy to get a ton of traffic with any kind of video. But to convert people, they want to know what kind of videos they can expect moving forward. So
Mhm.
it's not simply about views. That's why sometimes you'll see pages where they'll have a video that got 7 million views and they have like 1,000 followers. And it's because it was totally random. It wasn't in a niche. People didn't want to sign up for it essentially. So if you make it
Yeah.
very clear and obvious what they're signing up for, any traffic that you get is going to be amplified. Then what I would say is your videos need to be short. Like it needs to be very, very punchy. You need to really get good at capturing a great hook and keeping it very easy to watch and fast and punchy. You almost want to leave them wanting more. I'm someone who
Yeah.
talks a lot and I'm used to long form content on YouTube, so I've struggled with this of making it really short and super easy to watch. But it's so important. Even the people that I've worked with that have had great success with TikTok, it's because they're doing that. Their videos are short, they're very easy to watch, and they're using different things and strategies to capture their attention, keep them there, and then also get them to watch it again.
Yeah. And the thing with TikTok, you make one video, it can go viral, and instantly all your social medias gain 10,000 followers. Like that.
The reach there is just truly crazy, but it's all about.
Yeah.
That's why I would just say throw it as many things against the wall as possible and see what sticks, but just continue to improve. Like don't just simply do the same thing over and over again, but keep
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah, that's why I'm like doing like I'm reposting my Minecraft shorts I post on my Minecraft channel for shorts. I post them on TikTok. And I post my podcast highlights just to see like which one does better and then I'll just like find out easily. And yeah, about like that TikTok has so much reach. There's this one streamer that streams Minecraft. It got 500,000 followers on Twitch just because of like posting TikToks,
Wow.
which is insane.
That is crazy because Twitch followers are like that's a very good industry.
Yeah, and like a couple 100,000 on YouTube, which is like
Wow.
it's so much.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, what do you think are your biggest accomplishments like in the social media space or like podcasting?
My biggest accomplishments, I'd say probably just the people that I've helped for free, and then also within my agency. So I think that's been the coolest thing. Was like I love to receive DMs from people where they're like, "Oh, I watched your content and I actually did it, and then this is what happened." Like that's what I love. Like, there's a lot of people who watch my stuff and then don't take action, so it's very cool to see those that do. And then also on like a more personal side, when we work with clients within my agency, it's awesome to see what we can do for them and really bring their vision to life and also help improve their business or their brand, whatever it may be. So I'd say my biggest accomplishments are more what I've helped other people do.
Yeah, that's a very good, you know, accomplishments because like helping people is like very important because if you find something that you're good at, you're probably gonna like want to help people too.
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so I normally ask like for advice for like YouTubers slash podcasters, but we have given tons of advice already. So but one thing we haven't given advice on is YouTube. So for the last question, do you have any advice for YouTubers?
Yeah, I'd say that having a niche here is very, very important, but also understanding what YouTube is. So YouTube is a search engine. So it's very important to understand that and understand what it's trying to do. It's trying to get the right content in front of the right people. And as a small channel, it's unlikely that your videos are automatically going to get put on suggested or the browse features because there's so many areas where videos pop up on YouTube, as you would know as you consume YouTube.
Yeah.
But the browse and suggested is very much authority driven. So it's based on mostly channels that have had proven success. They get those places. But what small channels can do is they can start ranking for search terms. So you can start ranking videos for what people are
Yes.
specifically searching. So I think learning that, even on like a base level, is very, very important because that way you can start targeting videos based on specific things that people are looking for. But in addition to that, it's the biggest advice I can give is understanding how important titles and thumbnails are. They're the only real
Definitely.
that you have with people. So you really need to maximize that experience and really create intrigue. And you need to build tension and make them complementary. So your title should not be the exact same as your thumbnail. Like you shouldn't say the same
And
thing.
descriptions too are important.
Yeah, absolutely. But so the title and the thumbnail should complement each other, and you should build up tension that can only be released or relieved by clicking and watching your video. And then if your video is great, people are going to watch it all the way through. They're going to watch another, and then YouTube will start pushing your videos.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like the algorithm now is like if one video gets into the algorithm and people watch the whole video and they watch some other videos, the algorithm will boost the first video that they watched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's all about the data that they collect. So if you make great content, eventually you're going to win. But these little things like titles and thumbnails and like understanding how search engine optimization works, those will just speed up the process.
Definitely. And a tip I would give is try using YouTube Shorts. Because on my channel, I average like on the channel where I post my podcast, like 200 views, 400. Well, I average like 200, 100 views, and I did 3 YouTube Shorts. They all got like 500 views,
It's
and
amazing.
it got me tons of subscribers. So use YouTube Shorts to your advantage, and there's tons of YouTube pages that focus on only YouTube Shorts, and they have grown hundreds of thousands of followers just because of it. So that's
Yeah,
me.
no, it's really
Use
crazy.
YouTube Shorts.
For sure.
All right. So thank you so much, Ben, for coming on the podcast. This really
Sure.
means a lot. So before we end, is there anything you want to promote, like social medias?
Yeah. So if you want to connect with me, the best place to do that would be personally would be over on Instagram. It's just Ben Leavitt. Leavitt is spelled LEAVITT_. And then on YouTube, it's just my name, Ben Leavitt. And then if you like podcasts, I'd love for you to check out my podcast called Social Media University.
Everything will be in the description down below. So if you want to know Ben's Instagram, YouTube, his podcast, in the description. Anyways, Ben, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you next episode of the Nicocast.